Welcome back, awesome action toy fans and subscribers. It is Thursday, the 9th of February 2023. And so if you're watching this and it's a few days or maybe weeks later, it's because I've got a huge backlog of videos that I'm publishing one at a time. And it's just in the queue. That's why it's so late. Or if you want to watch things as soon as they're ready, then you can just join the Patreon, link in the top right of your screen now. And you get to see things as soon as they stick up there, sometimes days, weeks, even months in advance when I actually get to publish them on YouTube. You also get inclusive and free entries into our prize draws and raffles, and you get exclusive stuff, content as well. Okay, so please consider joining that. You can cancel at any time, so it's very, very cool. Okay, today we're looking at we're looking at Boss Fight Studios, and we're looking at Epic H.A.C.K.S even. We're looking at their big skeletons. Doing so 4 here. We got the Earth Scorch, that's the Grim Spectre in the center, Barbarian Deathmonger on the left, center right, Gladiator Destroyer of Empires, and on the far right, Pirate Mystical Tormentor. And at least one of these looks like they could be possibly glow in the dark. I think maybe that one is glow in the dark as well. So we shall have a look at that very, very shortly. Very, very cool looking. Very, very nice. Okay, so I'm going to unpackage these in a second and get into it. But first, I have to look at the packaging. It appears, unlike the Vitruvian hacks, that these ones you cannot slide out. You have to remove, which is a real shame. You can't preserve the packaging. The packaging's not the great. It's a bit too big, I think. It's floppy. Let's look at the back. There is stories on the back of each, so you can read the story there. Boop, 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 boop. Pause and read that, and then you can pause and read the next part as well. They do look pretty cool. Let's look at the next one and see what this one is like. Very cool packaging again. Nice base. It's got a book. Very cool. 2 more to look at. So Gladiator. Let's get a look at this backstory on this one. Again, just pause and you can read. And now the last one, the pirate, this green pirate. Pretty cool looking. Not so sure about the color, but it's still pretty cool. Again, you can just pause and you can read the details on this one. Okay, I'm going to unbox these and set them up, and then we'll get into it. And I'm going to keep the packaging for future reference, plus I like that the story on the back. Okay, so I'll be back in an instant. Okay, here they all are set up, and all their accessories are out on display for you guys to see. They are rather cool. And what's really nice is they've taken their usual 1/18 scale, and literally they've just scaled up most of the stuff. Not all of the stuff. Some of the bits are a little bit different, and we'll look at that in a second. But let's look at these one by one first of all. So let's start off with the pirate, who's here. Very, very nice looking. That green's a bit funky, but pretty cool. He comes with a spare head, spare feet, and a nice little rat. He's holding his sort of cutlass there. His other sword is through there, and he's got another space for his dagger there, which is fantastic. These are sort of scaled up boots and parts we've seen before, and they're smaller figures. The bandana is actually part of the head, and there is no jaw articulation on this one. We'll look at articulation in a little while. He is very nice looking, I've got to say. And him and the Grim Reaper on the end actually come with alternate heads. The rest don't. So his alternate head is just an bandanaed head, I guess. And this one does have articulation in the jaw that we can see there. Very, very cool. He also, and the Barbarian also, come with just feet. Since they come with shoes, they've put blank skeleton feet too, and I see I've got a left and a right there. And then the little rat he comes with, very nice. That'll work in any scale. It's pretty cool. The fact that they've actually taken the time for the eyes and different coloured ears is nice. And then they all come with a scaled up version of the Vitruvian Hex base Epic H.A.C.K.S in red, which is pretty cool. Very, very nice. I do like that. Okay, the Barbarian. So only accessory that he comes with that's not on him is the feet. We saw already on the Pirate. Scaled up version of some of the other parts we've seen on their smalls. I said that Morning Star, we've seen the axe, we've seen the long sword we've seen, which can go on his back there. But he doesn't have anything else to put another thing on, but I just stuck that. It does look pretty good. Got his axe and the Morning Star. Very, very nice indeed. A really nice looking figure. And this one does have the articulated jaw. Very cool. Stick him back. Look at the Gladiator, who is obviously a scaled up version of the skeleton with the Gladiator kit that we had released. Looks very nice. Again, he does have a spacery sort of sword there, and he comes with the, I forget what it's called, the sort of a 45 degree angle blade sword here too. Very cool looking. And this, all these pads and stuff on his legs can be taken off, and the armor can be swapped around and so forth. And you can just take this off and you can put a weapon on that hand. Really supposed to take the hand off and slot that in, but I left the hand on, and the hat comes off and he has his skull. You can see that there underneath there. Very nice. Make sure he's standing up. Then lastly, the Grim Reaper one, who I think is possibly my favourite. So I have swapped two of his hands around already. So standard, he comes with two gripping hands, and then he comes with, and I swapped these over, he has a pointing hand and a open hand, and I've already swapped the other sides around on this. So we've got, this is pointing left, gripping right, and I've got him with pointing right, gripping left. Alternate head is this jack-o'-lantern head. We've seen it already. Really nice on the bigger scale. It does look fantastic. That'll just pop onto the neck peg. Good colouring on that. Very, very nice indeed. And he has this little flame that's in his hands now. Again, it's upscaled. Looks pretty cool. Hence, I've got the open hand there. It does add a bit of weight. Oops, a bit of weight to him though. So you need to pose him accordingly so he doesn't fall over when he's got that in his hand. So if I bring him, take that off, bring him forwards, he's got some really nice soft goods. Very, very cool. So we'll limit his articulation there. Nice details going around. I've put his sigh and the little what it's called, I guess not a sheath or the slot there. The book I just rested, and this does not supposed to go in there, so the hole's not made really for that size peg. But I thought I'd just stick it in to stay out of the way. But really that should be in his hand, and he can be pointing or doing magic or something else. Or the if we look in the bottom of the flame, there is a small hole, just like we saw with the smaller version. So the book can actually have the flame on when he's holding it, and so forth. The only thing I was looking on is this part in his head. I reckon this should have been soft goods, not rubbery goods. But other than that, he does look absolutely fantastic. Now, I could balance him with the book like that as well, but that's going to really overbalance him. Got to bend his legs a lot more backwards, I think, to make that work. Let's have a look. See, even now, he wants to fall over forwards like that because that's so heavy in comparison. Put it on this side. Get his hand better. There we go. Standing up, he's pointing. You are next. He should really be looking where he's pointing, shouldn't he? Ha 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 ha. You shall burn. Very, very cool looking indeed. Okay, so I'm going to take one for articulation. I think I'll take the Pirate, since I think it'd be quite easy. After that, we'll do size and we'll compare them to some other skeletons in 1/12 scale, which is what these ones are. So can I move them up the Barbarian falling over? Yeah. Yes, we can. Okay, so let's get him in order. So we know that most of the skulls have the jaw. This is the one without the jaw. But it's a peg, so it's a left and a right. Good side to side, up and down. Very, very nice. Shoulders all the way around. Not actually stiff because they're not painted. To the side, slightly over 90, which is great. Bicep bend is not fantastic, but it is 90 degrees. And this is what's different compared to the the hacks. So they got the joint like we see in the new Joy toy, where you have to line up the joint first before you can articulate the direction you want. So this is a wave. If I had to twist it and keep the hand still, I could get a different line. Trunk. There is a trunk turn, it appears. Well, that's a waist. There's nothing in the trunk that I can make out. The waist does turn, we can see. Hips to the side. Wow, that is a taekwondo pirate there. Fantastic. Forwards and backwards again is going to be bordering on a full splits. Really, really cool. Legs we can see are a double kneecap, so it should get a nice and tight bend. Very, very nice. The feet, tippy toe and dorsiflexation. There is a boot turn of sorts, and you can get a pivot, so it's much better on your feet than the actual regular 1/18 scale Vitruvian Hex figures. Very, very cool. And I love the fact that this pirate has got like spaces for all his weapons. He holds one, he can stow the other two. Very, very nice. Okay, let's stick him there. Let's get my tape measure and we'll get an idea of size. NCM. So look at the Gladiator, and he is coming on 15.5 inches to his head, maybe. Sorry, centimeters to his head, and about 17 to the top of the helmet. And on the Grim Reaper, again, he's about 15.5 to the top of his head. And the Pirate, again, is about the same, about 15.5 cm to the top of his head. Okay, so I'm going to choose probably one or two of these, and we're going to do a comparison with some other 1/12 scale skeletons. I think I'll keep the Gladiator and the Pirate up. Just put the other two down. So first up, let's look at a skeleton from Kulu World. I've reviewed these before. This is about his cloak, his accessories, or anything, just a basic skeleton form. And you can see that they scale well. The Kulu World one is slightly bigger. Let's put him over slightly here. And Pirate slightly over there. I love the Pirate's feet. I love the Pirate's feet. It's like a zombie the way I've got his feet sort of posed, coming in on each other. Okay, so we can get an idea of this, how they scale the Kulu World one there. And then lastly, let's compare to a Mythic Legions, which is probably the premier 1/12 scale for skeletons and fantasy stuff. And again, they scale okay, but they do look a bit short. But they could be minions, I guess, or underlings, but still scale pretty well. Okay, and then lastly, I will fit the Barbarian and the Grim Reaper on each side. Okay. My Grim Reaper, are you going to come up nicely for me? Are you going to balance? Let's have a look. Here, there. And then he's got that book in his hands. And let's see if it's going to be a nice balance for me today. Come on. Come to Papa! Or not. Oh, wow. He does not want to know. Okay, let me just quickly get him balanced. As that foot here needs to go backwards slightly. I think the ankles could be perhaps a touch tighter and it would balance better. Okay, that should do it there. I'm hoping. I get to see. I'm going to see all of these guys together and how they look. I'm sure that book's going to drop off again as soon as I stick him down, but let's try. Come on. Ah, there we go. Just so I get him, the book wants to fly off again. No! So yeah, that book and that flame could be doing it a little bit lighter, I think. I could always bend his hand more, but I wanted to stay in that posture. Okay, foot secured. Okay, let me pause this and set him up. I'll be back in an instant. So here we are. A great selection of skeletons there, all 1/12 scale. Obviously the Mythic Legions are slightly bigger, or the biggest, and the Cooler World is slightly bigger again, but the Epic hacks do work well with them, particularly as they're relatively cheap and they're good for army builders too. You can get a nice selection of skeletons going on in your skeleton army. Very, very cool indeed. If you like sort of content, please consider joining the Patreon, link in the video description below, and subscribe to his YouTube channel and smash that notification bell icon, and I'll see you in the next video review soon. Stay happy, keep collecting. Bye bye.